big reveal's coming.
The big reveal's coming.
The big reveal's coming.
Big reveal is coming.
There's a big reveal coming? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. And good morning on Instagram. I thought I had everything timed correctly. I'd hit the Instagram button. It's okay. It's great. It's Thursday. It is 9:30 Cotton Cuts time. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I see people checking in from chilly Missouri. Terry, we are right there with you. It was like 62 degrees this morning in our new space inside the building. It was 62 degrees this morning, you guys. It is cold here in Missouri. Good morning from Ohio, Tennessee. Good morning, Mitzi. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for spending time with us today. Okay, so we've got an exciting show. We're going to talk all about kids today and tomorrow, and sewing for kids and juvenile fabrics and why they're awesome. 37 degrees in Tennessee. Holy cow, Jonna, Jiminy Crickety, that is cold. I feel like I'm not necessarily sure if this is like fake fall, or if we're really in fall. I feel like this late in October, we're stuck. And I'm telling the kids that they've got to put those shorts and those t-shirts away, and it's time to start putting on the real clothes. So Oregon, Mississippi, you guys, it is cold. 55 in Albuquerque. Holy cow, Naomi, that is relatively cold. But Albuquerque's desert. I grew up in Arizona. I get it. There's nothing to hold in that heat. All right. Fantastic. All right. So first question we have for everyone. We're going to start as we do every show for at least the past couple of weeks is, are we going to hear any airplanes today? Paula always has fun putting funny little quips up on the screen whenever a plane flies overhead. So how many planes do you guys think we're going to hear today? I am going to warn you, with the cooler weather, they are out and they are loud today. So put out your guess. Last week we gave away prizes. I think we'll do that again. So put out a guess. See how many airplanes you think. I'm seeing 9. Woo! Donna. Oh my gosh. How long am I going to be sitting here? Holy cow. All right. Fantastic work. All right. So we're going to start, as we always do, with questions that have been submitted by you guys. Go to cottoncuts.com/live to enter your question. These are handed to me as I sit down, and we will see and maybe answer all of these questions together. So as always, I appreciate you guys submitting these questions to me. It's always a good opportunity for us to talk about things that we don't necessarily get a chance to put on our agenda and talk about. Let's see here. How many planes were last week? Aaron, I was asking, it was 4, right? It was 4 last week, Aaron. Yeah. They're out there, man. They are loud. Okay. So as I said, so these questions are submitted from you guys. I love it when you guys submit these because we get to talk about fun things that are top of your mind. And depending on the question, we can hear answers from the audience. So I'm looking at the first question, and I actually am liking this one from the start. So it is submitted by Embarrassed Anonymous. I appreciate that candor there. The Embarrassed Anonymous from San Francisco, California. So the question is, I finally bought me a nice iron and a wool mat, and my seams have never been flatter. That's awesome. That's what those are there for, right? And you got the little clapper to hold them flat. But I ruined my vintage sewing table with the steam that seeped through the mat. Just so I don't ruin any more furniture, can you please explain what is the correct pressing setup for both a dry iron and for steam? Okay, guys. So I would love it if you guys commented wherever you're at as to what you do when you're pressing with a wool pressing mat. Wool pressing mats are relatively new. I think people have really started using them in mass in probably the past 2 to 3 years. They became very popular because they absorb the heat and they hold the heat. So when you're pressing against it, the heat stays there and it actually makes a crisper, flatter seam, especially when you use a clapper, which is a piece of wood that goes on top of it. All that heat stays inside of it and you're able to really kind of, oh yeah, Paula, Vanna off to the side over here. So this is my wool pressing mat. It lives here. Right. And so I use it when we're doing the stitching competitions, the Stitch It's to Win It. And so, right, it has some thickness to it. So this one I would say is probably 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch thick. It has some thickness to it. And so I think the Embarrassed Anonymous, it can happen if you're using a lot of steam or if you're using it for an extended period of time. Wool is also not a material that typically dries pretty fast. So it's going to retain that moisture in there. And so Let's see here. I didn't think you were supposed to use steam on a wool mat. That's Terry. I think that's probably the first place I was going to go. I'm seeing a comment on Instagram from Char53 that is where I was going to go, which is Insulbright under your mat. And so that's what I was suggesting is some measure of an insulating layer underneath it to help keep all your moisture on one side and away from the other side. And Insulbright has that metallic heat resistant layer in there that's going to protect the wood underneath it from all the heat that comes through it. Misty is saying she uses on top of old batting or a piece of wood. That is absolutely correct. True. Let's see here. Catherine is saying she used a dry iron. I think my suggestion, just given the way that wool retains moisture, it can lead to an environment that can lead to some mildew and some unsavory side effects. So I would suggest using a dry iron on a wool mat. I've said this before lots of times. I don't use steam in really anything when I'm quilting. We use steam a lot here in the shop, guys. We use a lot of steam. The batiks, when they come off the bolt, take a really hard press, and so we have to use steam to get that out. But when I'm quilting and sewing, I am always using a dry iron, especially on top of that wool, just because it retains so much moisture. But I think to answer your question, Embarrassed Anonymous, is to really kind of have that layer between there or put it on a surface that you don't mind getting damaged and ruined. And I feel like here in the shop, we actually, and it's going to sound really silly, we use a lot of, we iron a lot on top of hollow core doors. And so these are doors that you would get at like a Home Depot or a Lowe's. And we put 2 layers of batting and fabric on it, and we iron, and we do a lot of ironing. Those things last for probably 3 or 4 years before they need to be replaced. We did start by putting Insulbright in there, just to kind of protect the wood and extend its life. But that's kind of expensive, and we found we didn't actually really need it, even with all the moisture we're doing. So let's see here. When watching YouTube videos, Tanya saying she gets stressed watching people use wool mats directly on top of their self-healing. Yeah, I feel like that's the same, right? That heat, you need to make sure that there's some level of insulating layer. I like the idea of wood. I like the idea of Insulbright. I like the idea of some measure of protection for heat and moisture from whatever surface you're ironing on top of. And I think to this user, I mean, there's actually no problem with putting that wool mat right on top of your old ironing board as well. That's what it's made for. Your ironing board is made to actually transfer all that heat. So I would suggest that as well in a pinch, or even get one of those mini ironing boards. We have one here in the shop for some projects we've done. But if you have a mini ironing board, you can put your wool mat on top of that, and that'll give you clearance of about 2 inches from whatever surface you are on top of. Oh my gosh, you guys, thanks so much for all these suggestions. This is fantastic. I think I had a plan where I was going to go, and you guys took us in lots of different directions, which I love. All right, Embarrassed Anonymous, I hope that helps you, and I wish you the best of luck. If you need additional ideas, definitely check back to this section of the video because people will comment as time goes on. All right, our next question comes to us from Holly Francis from Bowling Green, Virginia. Thanks so much for your question, Holly. What makes Rosa's Holiday Your Way boxes different from traditional holiday countdowns, and how can I customize them to fit my quitting? I have not had enough coffee this morning, everybody. And how can I customize them to fit my quilting style or gift preferences? Okay, so I think one of the things that kind of really makes a difference between our quilting countdown boxes and other companies and competitors, and you guys, we've joined all of them. We've purchased all of them in the past. We brought them all in and we opened them up because we wanted to kind of see what everyone else was doing, to see what we liked and what we wanted to change. And I think this is going to sound really very, very silly. But one of the things that I really like about our boxes compared to other countdown boxes is that I felt like I was paying so much for packaging. I feel like when we brought in other countdown boxes, it was this, and I'm a packaging engineer, guys. This is kind of my background and my jam. I was like, there is so much money being spent on packaging the countdown box versus the quality of the product on the inside that I felt like I was really paying a lot of money for paper and tissue and boxes and cute little designed boxes that would open. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like I am spending a lot of money on packaging for something that really wasn't inspiring and delighting, which is really why when we thought about our boxes, we wanted to focus on spending a lot more of that. Hey, Amy. Yeah. Hi, packaging engineer. I wanted to spend more time focusing on really delivering quality things on the inside where every day I felt joy because of what I was opening versus like I paid how much for this really cool designed like over big box, right? And so, and we looked at countdown boxes that were crochet, that were knitting, that were paper crafts. We looked at a lot of different things, and we really wanted to focus on making sure that Rosa's Holiday Your Way focused on the actual things that were inside of it. Misty saying she likes it when you use fabric to wrap the presents. Yeah, that is something, not this year, Misty, but coming soon, because I feel like you're wrapping it in something that you're not just going to end up throwing away. And I know that by the time we open all these boxes, we like looked at our trash pile versus the actual what we got pile, and the equation didn't work. So I feel like that's one of the major ways in which we are different. And then the second way is, we really like to come up with not one box fits all. And I think that's something it's part of our core values is we don't like the you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. We don't like the everyone gets the same thing and we hope that you like it. We really want to make sure that you get a countdown box that's suited for you, which is why we have the ones that have fabric, which is why we have the ones that have gifts and notions, which is why we have projects, which is why we have scrap projects. So we're trying to come up with ways in which you can receive a holiday box that matches you versus feeling like you're getting something that's made for everybody. And even within our boxes, there's some nuance. So like everyone's fat quarter box is going to be different. You could have a different fat quarter than someone else and you're opening at the same time, and perhaps you swap it because maybe you like what they received and what you didn't. That's absolutely fantastic. Let's see here. I'm seeing Jana loves that we used plain envelopes for a previous table runner. Yes. And so it's really just, we're trying to, again, it's part of sustainability and minimizing waste and feeling like we are putting the money that we are receiving for the boxes to the product and not necessarily to the packaging that it comes in. And I know we focus on the tissue paper and we want to make sure that you guys have joy when you open it. But at the same time, when that joy becomes like, I paid what for what, we definitely want to make sure that you guys are getting everything that you deserve this holiday season. Okay, Holly, thanks so much for the question. I always love talking about that. Debbie is saying she loves the to-do list gifts that you put in the boxes. Yes, so this is something we haven't talked about yet, Debbie, because we're going to put it on the website November 1st. But each time we do a Rosa's Holiday Your Way, we include a little quilter's wish list. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it's for everyone has those well-intentioned family members, children, parents, aunts, uncles that want to give you something for Christmas and they go pick out fabric and you absolutely don't love it. And so we created these quilters wish lists, and you can put your favorite designers, your favorite quilt shops, your favorite online quilt shops. You can list out all the things that you as a quilter would love to receive to help those well-intentioned gift givers give you something you're going to love. So Debbie, thank you so much for mentioning that. We will actually put it on our website at the beginning of November for everyone to go in and download. And so that way, if someone asks you what you want for the upcoming holidays, you can make sure that you increase your chances of getting something that you will love. All right, Tishua is saying 5 planes. Tishua, I think you might be right, but I don't think we've heard any yet. Okay. All right. Those are the questions we've received today. Guys, thanks so much for submitting them. Go to cottoncuts.com/live to submit a question for us for next week's show. I always love these, guys. These are fun. Don't forget, if you're watching us, to give StreamYard your permission so we can see your name. I see everyone's doing a great job at that. I can see all the people that are asking questions and giving all sorts of feedback. That's fantastic. And don't forget to stay to the end. We are going to have a weekly giveaway. We're giving away another $25 gift card to our shop. That would be a fantastic thing to use on many, many, many things. All right. So what is happening in the shop this week? Holy cow, guys. So our team is definitely still working on getting everything ready for the Tree of Life big reveal. So we have about 2,200-ish people working on Tree of Life. And so that mystery does come to an end on November 1st. And so we have our big reveal plan November 1st at 1 o'clock. You're going to want to tune in. It's going to be me. I'm going to see Sheila Christensen, our designer, next week at Market. We're going to do a cute little fun little video you're not going to want to miss. We have lots of celebrities that have been sewing the project with us that will show their quilts. And we will show, I think by the end of the day, we're going to have maybe 5 or 8. This design is awesome, you guys. I am actually very thankful that we're like getting you guys out and playing with it and having you guys submit your guesses to us. I'm seeing these come in because I'm working on the customer service desk this week. And if you guys want to submit a guess, if you want to put it out on a design wall, or we even had someone very creatively design it up on their computer with all the clues and the instructions. If you want to submit to us what you think your guess is going to be, we'll do some honorable mentions during the live show as well. So you're going to send those to help@cottoncuts.com. Erin is asking, are you guys going to show any of the guesses before doing the big reveal? No, Erin, so that's one of those, like, I keep that pretty close to my chest. And so we are not going to be showing any of the people's guesses before the reveal. And if you do post it in the group, we do usually ask to take those down just so that way everyone can experience the big reveal, the final design at the same time. However, everyone who has submitted guesses ahead of time, we're going to probably put together a video reel of all of them together so you guys can see how close many people got. I would say, of the guesses I've been seeing coming in, I would say about they're about 80-ish% correct. I would say there's probably some that are pretty darn close. This design, once you kind of get cooking with it and see how it comes together, there are elements that are easier to ascertain than others. I can tell you Ian was this close to goodness, and he's been doing this a long time. So I would say keep those coming in. We'll put together a reel and we'll be able to celebrate everyone that got really close. As we did for Carnival, Gail and her husband got to playing with it, and they submitted a guess as well. Last time they were the only ones to have guessed Carnival, but they are in the mix this time as well. Okay. And don't forget, we heard a plane. This is why I have to have Paula keeping track of this, guys. And anytime you see that message, it's a bird, it's a plane. Yes. Okay. And then we're also going to be doing our sew in the day afterwards for all those Tree of Life detectives from 10 to 2. We give away prizes. You guys are not going to want to miss out. Like, I think every hour or something, we're giving things away. So definitely work on that. Get all your pieces together, get all caught up. We are also reopening our Tim Holtz membership. So we found some more fabric, thankfully. We've gone through all of the wait list. And so I think we're going to keep it open for about another couple of days here because those fabrics are starting to come in and our team is getting ready to cut them. So head to the website and go to the Tim Holtz, click on if you want to prepay or do month to month. But guys, there's only like this many left. So if you missed out the first time, you were going to want to get in the next couple of days. We're getting ready to ship our classic fabrics, which I don't have here, but that's absolutely okay. I was looking at some of our classic fabrics yesterday as they were getting folded, and you guys, this one's box is no joke. This one has a lot of fun, bright. This box is joy in a cup, and I can see Paula like sprinting over to get me fabrics. So we're gonna we're just gonna come here. What is the secret to finding Tim Holtz fabric? I have to call the manufacturer and beg and plead and beg and plead and beg and plead and ask them to send me more, because the way this program is structured, they only are printing a certain amount, but I was able to kind of squeeze in and get some more. So it's okay. It's what we do, and we'll do it because it means including more people in our programs, and that is an everyone win. Okay, Paula I've stalled enough. Okay, so I think, we don't do a lot of orange in general, but these are some oranges. They're going to be shipping in our classic box this month. We've got some batiks as well as some cottons, as well as this lovely fabric that blends right in. I bet you that's a Moda or a Riley Blake. This one, when it came off the bolt, I was like, this is so stinking cute, you guys. This is a poppy cotton. It's got little kind of, I don't want to say like mushroom children, but it's got mushroom children in it. And so it's super cute. It's got this pastel color. I can see the color is changing for me on YouTube and on Facebook, but it's got some cute fabrics there. And then we also have a lot of people I know, like Giuseppe, like Juicy Juice. We have his Deco Glow, which is his Christmas Winter Frost collection as well. You are not going to want to miss out on those classic fabrics. Back to my list. Okay. We also tomorrow are going to have another Whatnot. So these are fun kind of experiences for us. So those of you not familiar with Whatnot, Whatnot is an online auctioning website that started primarily to sell like collectibles and baseball playing cards and anything that's like an antique. And it was an auction website, and people would show and then you would sell them and you would auction, you would bid. About a year ago, they started to include crafting businesses. And so we jumped on board and we've been playing around with it. And so we are doing our next Whatnot show tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's going to be all about juvenile fabrics. And so we are going to have 5-yard cuts of, I think it's about 25 or 30 different juvenile fabrics that we picked out from the shop. And we're going to be auctioning them off. We will start, I think it's $30, and then we'll auction them off. They will be on our website for the weekend, and you'll be able to come. If you miss the Whatnot, you'll be able to go to the website and get a 5-yard cut of these fabrics at whatever the auction price was on Whatnot. It's always a ton of fun, guys. So I usually do something thematic, like they put me in costumes for these. And so for juvenile, we've had to kind of stretch our brains a little bit. But I can tell you there's probably going to be juice boxes involved because I think Paul is putting some sort of like playtime spin on it. So you are not going to want to miss this. It's going to be crazy. All right. So let's see here. What is poppy fabric? Okay, so poppy is poppy cotton. Poppy cotton is it's a manufacturer. So it's like a Moda or a Robert Kaufman. They're a company that produces fabrics. They traditionally like to stay in something that's relatively small scale, like these guys. And they like kind of softer hues and prints. They're not a huge house. We do feature them every now and then. They've got a lot of cute things that we like to just pop in a box every now and then. But poppy cotton is a lot of fun. I wish I had more. Like maybe we'll do more poppy cotton and talk about, maybe we'll do a future show where we talk about some of the smaller fabric manufacturers that you guys may not have heard of, because there's the big giants like the Modas and the Free Spirits of the world. That might be a fun future topic. Thank you, Mitzi, for the question. All right. Where am I at here? Okay, so let's see here. So we ship Modern Maker. We're working on Floral States. We're working on the Roses Holiday Your Way. There's lots of things going on. And we also are continuing our breast cancer awareness. It is October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We do have breast cancer awareness bundles in the shop. A portion of every purchase goes to breast cancer research. So definitely get your fat quarter bundles, half-yard bundles, calliopes, stitches. We do all the things. These fabrics are awesome, and they work with a lot of fun projects. Okay, so to today's official conversation. So I wanted to spend today talking about sewing for children, not sewing with children. That's a different conversation. And we all know that, Dominic is the boy who sews. I sew with my children frequently. This is something that I love to do. I've taught a lot of children to do, but I want to talk today about sewing for children. This is something that's super near and dear to my heart. This is where I have spent probably the past 15 years doing the vast majority of my projects. When I think about things that I have created over this period of time, yes, I've done the big quilts for the beds and I've done the intricate designs. But when I think of volume, the most projects I have done are sewing for kids. And I feel like that's because, where I am in life, it's one of those, I'm the one that gets called with the hey, my coworker's having a baby. Can I get a baby quilt from you? Or, hey, I'm pregnant and you're going to be an aunt. I need a quilt from you. And so I feel like that phase of life that I've been in for the past 10 years, I'm making a lot of baby things, a lot of kid projects. And so it's something I've done a lot of. And I wanted to talk about why do people do this? Why do people like sewing for children? And so for me, it's a way to create a personalized gift as well as an heirloom. And I feel like whenever we make something, there's always an emotional connection that goes into the stitches that create the project for us. And especially when we're making for young children who, we're trying to make a positive impression on, and we want to bring joy and comfort to, especially the younger they are. And so one of the projects that I have a couple projects here, and I wanted to share one that I made for Dominic when he was a baby. And so it is here. And so this is actually a growth chart for him. And so I embroidered his name on it, and I put all of these little squares in here, and each square is an inch. And then I embroidered every 12 inches. And so on here on the bottom, I'll show you. It actually, I embroidered in all of his heights as he was growing, right? And so down here, this is the height he was at birth. And it's actually to scale, guys. Again, engineer, dork, right? Let's not forget that. And so I embroidered in the date and his age and how tall he was. And this hangs on the wall in his room. He's 12, guys, and he still has this up in his room so he can see, once upon a time he was like this tall. And I know that like sewing, like when we think of quilting and we think of sewing, like these aren't the typical projects we think of, but this is something like Dominic's going to have the rest of his life. It is personalized for him. This cannot be gifted to literally anyone else. It is his, and it is his to own for the rest of his life. And to me, obviously, there's a super strong emotional connection to this, right? I would take him to the doctor, we would get his height, and then I would come home and I would stitch it on this chart. And so, you guys, this is like one of the reasons why I love sewing for kids, because you can make projects like this that they're going to keep with them forever. I know all of us at some point have something baby related that has been handed down. I think we inherited something of my husband's that he was wearing as a child, and then it was given to our children. All of these things, once you make this heirloom, it gets passed down and it gets passed down and it gets passed down. Another reason why I like sewing for children is traditional quilt police rules do not apply. And so I know that as quilters, we get stuck in the, like, it has to be exactly on this. It has to be, all the corners have to match. All the points have to match. The colors have to be on a wheel, and you have to get complementary and coordinating. And it has to be a certain number of prints and a certain number of scale. And I love that sewing for children, all that goes out the window, because children don't care, right? To be clear, no 2-year-old is going to look and say this point doesn't match. And no 2-year-old is going to be like, that blue doesn't match with that green and match against that yellow, right? And I love that that's freeing to me, right? All the kids care about is that you made them something and it is pretty. That's it. And they will love, and they were going to appreciate that for forever. And they're going to drag that blanket through the playground every day because you made it for them. And they really do not care that you have a red next to an orange and it's not adjacent on a color wheel. And so, I have a couple projects that were made for my children that, it's not that they don't care, right? These quilts were made with love, right? And intention. But at the same time, like, some of these have some fabrics, like, this is not traditional. This is not a traditional piece project, right? And of course it's upside down. I apologize. It's sitting on the chair that way and I have to stand up to show you guys, but it's trucks. And I mean, it has some Snoopy over here. It has it has just a lot of just bright fabrics that you probably would never put together if you were making it for anyone other than a child. And then the quilt that we have on the bottom, and I'm actually going to put it up for the Whatnot tomorrow, is a Sudoku quilt. And so it's kind of like an I Spy, which is very popular with children. Don in the shop is hanging out over there, has made an amazing I Spy quilt, which is just a collection of a random assortment of juvenile prints, and kids can pick, and you can, like, what is this? How do we spell this? How do we say this? I Spy are super fantastic. This I Spy was made into a Sudoku board. So none of the prints repeat in the same column or the same row, and they're all 9-patch blocks. And so it's just kind of like a super, like, smart way of doing an I Spy quilt. But all of the, show me red, show me yellow, show me the birds, show me the car. How do we say this? How do we spell it? All of those things, because it's more about engaging with the child than it is about matching your points and about making sure that all the colors look great together. I'm seeing Jet Lou is saying that she's quilting an I Spy for her nephew now. Yes, I Spy quilts are awesome. I love the quilt you made for your son. Thank you so much, Christine. That's awesome as well. Okay. And so I feel like when it comes to creativity, Quilt Police Go on Vacation, it's a fantastic reason to sew for children. And then some considerations when sewing for children is durability. And so this is one of these things, if you're making a project, if you're making a bib, if you're making clothes, if you're making a quilt for a child, that sucker is going to get washed. It is going to get washed, and it's going to get washed a lot. So this is where, you want to make sure that when you're sewing for children, you've considered durability, that it's over quilted. So that way that batting doesn't become a giant ball. You also want to make sure that your seams definitely have that 1/4 inch seam allowance, because it's going to fray. I've had that happen to me before. I had someone who spent a lot of time making a quilt gift for us, and did not use generous seam allowances. And the first time I washed it, it all frayed and fell apart. This is also a good opportunity to use higher quality fabric because it's going to get washed so much. It's going to get dragged through the playground. Durability is definitely something to consider and make sure that you're being conscious of when you're making these projects, because you want them to last more than the quilt that I had that was washed once and fell apart. But it's also something that you need to make it for both a short and a long term, right? Kids grow up and their tastes change, and kids that love trucks today might not love trucks in a couple months. And so that's one of those things that it's going to get loved and then it'll get held onto, and it might come back to it. Or it might be something that they, put in a box. And like me, I went through my kids' baby boxes and I pulled out a whole bunch of quilts that we're going to save and will eventually be given to them when they leave the house. Misty Proctor's asking, there are quilt police. Yes. Yes, there are definitely quilt police out there. Okay. And I think the last reason why I like sewing for kids is that these are quicker projects, guys. Like, you can sew most kids' projects in a weekend, maybe 2 weekends, and they're done and they can be gifted. I feel like, because you're not overthinking it, because you're not focusing on precision, because you're focusing on durability, and there's not as much thought into all those color choices, I feel like sewing for children is definitely a quicker project. Okay, so why did we cover all that? So, because today we are launching Cotton Cuts Cuddle Books. And so when our team was thinking about, we wanted to do more sewing for kids, right? We were inspired by our employees that are making projects for their grandchildren and some of the things that I've made for my kids. And we're like, what can we as Cotton Cuts do that will be cool and different, but still kind of get to this, to get to sewing for children? Because we get a lot of questions. Hey, I want a shorter project. I want a quicker project. I want something that I can make and be gifted. And so we were working with, again, some of our fabric companies that we work with, and we came across this line of children's fabric books. And so this manufacturer has partnered with Sandra Magnuson, and they have a whole line of children's stories that are in a pre-printed panel that you simply cut, stitch, sew, and then you have a book that can be gifted to a child. And we were like, that is really cool. How do we make it Cotton Cuts, right? We like the idea of the pre-printed panel. I sit, I sew, and then I can gift it. And so how can we put a Cotton Cut spin on that? And we were like, it would be, we don't want to do everyone gets the same book, because as I've talked about, like, you might get a panel that has a truck on it, and you have a grandson that doesn't like trucks, and you wish that you had farm animals because that's what they're expecting, right? So what we did is we came up with a way for us to feature 3 different stories in a month. And then you guys get to pick which story we send you that month. So that way you're not stuck with something that won't fit with your grandchildren. Say you've got a granddaughter that loves cars and loves police officers. You can get a book that will fit that grandchild. My sons never liked trucks. You could have, I know I just showed you a truck quilt. They just weren't into it. I have my nephew that, my nephew can name every single type of truck by brand, make, and manufacturer. That's not my children. And so we wanted to make sure that it wasn't a you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So what I want to do first is kind of show you these panels, because not everyone might have seen these before. And so we have some examples here of what the panel looks like. And so it comes to you like this. It is pre-printed on the fabric. And literally the instructions are right here. So there's no additional instructions. Everything is on the panel, so it all comes in one. And what the instructions tell you to do is cut out all of the shapes, which are pages of a story, right? You can see the words that are printed right here. So in our first month, we're going to have one that features a puppy. We are also going to have one that features automobiles and transportation, right? And then we are also going to have one that features the absolutely cutest little alien creatures things that you've ever seen. Each panel also comes with this attachment here, these kind of accessories. And I'm going to show you what we do with those. So you're going to get the panel. But we're not going to just send you a panel in the mail, guys. That feels kind of boring, right? And so what we are going to do is we're going to also add, Debbie, you jumped the gun on me. We're actually going to add a piece of crinkle inside of it. And so for those of you that don't know, crinkle is the stuff that when you squeeze a kid toy, it makes a noise and a sound. And that is so much fun to have a book where you can like squeeze the sound. So we're going to send you a piece of crinkle to use in your project as well. We are also going to send you some ribbons and a spool of thread. The idea being you can use these ribbons to sew into your books as well as a spool of thread. So it's going to have everything you need with the exception of the batting. Shipping batting is really hard, guys. Everyone has scraps of batting that can be used for this project. So we're going to give you a ton of ribbons and a spool of thread. Now, what I want to show you is what Dawn is our like resident sewer, man. If we need things sewn, we give it to Dawn. She is amazing and she is awesome. Okay, so here is the dog book. And so here is the little ears. I can't see it because I'm wearing black, but the little ears that came and you cut them out and you can stitch them right into the book. And then she sewed all these ribbon tags into it. And so you can sew the ribbon tags however you want. You can use them to turn pages. And here's the book, right? And it's very simple. They're made for children up to about 6 years old is usually where this artist likes to work. And then, of course, they've got the tags. I know there's some kids that love the ribbon tags and love playing with them and pulling them. But yeah, you can sew the tags right into the book. We give you, I think it's 5 or 6 different types of ribbon. They're about 6 inches long. And so she used all of them here. And I love that we were able to get like dog paw print ribbon into the dog book. Here's that I love you little monster. And so for this one, she sewed the crinkle actually into the front and the back of the book. And it has these little horns in it too. Again, the ribbons, so you can open it and you can read the book. So Tanya, fantastic question, is asking, are these one-off purchases or a subscription? So right now, this is offered as a subscription on our website. And so what you're going to do is you can choose to receive a book monthly, every other month, or quarterly. It is the same price for all 3, guys. And so you can decide, and we've named them, and I'm going to have to check my notes because we came up with cute little names. Okay. So if you are monthly, it's a Storytime starter. If you are every other month, it's Cuddly Keepsakes. And if you are every 3 months, it's All Snuggled Up, right? I mean, there can be some people that just want to sew this at once every 3 months and just gift it. Or if you have multiple grandchildren, or I've seen comments about pregnant coworkers, like pregnant coworkers, this is a great idea for a pregnant coworker because this can be done in a weekend. And so then here's the car book, right? And so it's got all the ribbons. This one, the ribbons were sewn into each page so they could be used as a turning device. And then here on the back, I'm going to hold this up so you can see it on the Facebook and all the videos. And so what that box says is made with love for, and it says a huggable and lovable book for Studio E. And so it's a way to personalize it, and it's cute. Plus with it being fabric, guys, you can wash it with that crinkle in there. You can wash it. I have definitely been reading to children that have decided to excrete fluids from their mouth onto stuff. You are definitely going to want to be able to wash these books. And that's one of the benefits of it. I remember when my kids were younger, we had a whole library of these books that I made for them. This was something I could make while I was on maternity leave during nap time for them. And they would crawl over, they would pull the soft book off the shelf and bring it over to me. This is what my kids read. All right. Now, so for those of you that are going to write, this is exciting. This is awesome. Oh, Paula is she's wanting me to also, that it has the whole sensory, it has the touch, it has the feel with the ribbons. You can definitely work with this. Debbie is asking crinkle in the dryer. I believe that is a yes. I will get clarification on that and we'll put instructions in the membership. But I do believe you can put the crinkle in the dryer because this is not, I know some people use like potato chip bags or cereal bags, which you would definitely want to put on a low heat. We will look at the crinkle we will send to you and we will give you washing instructions for that because we want it to be washable. We definitely want you to be able to use these. Also, because Paula is involved in this project, she's like, what can we give to the first 10 people who sign up? And so what we are going to do is the first 10 people who join the Cotton Cuts Cuddle Books, which is, of course, Jana looks like she already jumped on it last night. Jana is ahead of the game. Thank you. Is we found these cute little backpack panels with dinosaurs. And so it's a drawstring backpack. It is like the books. It is a pre-printed panel. And so the first 10 people are going to get this lovely little backpack to keep all their kids' books in. So that'll automatically be added to your cart. You don't have to do anything with it. I think that is literally everything on my list. Paula, did I miss anything? All right, Paula says I got it all, so I think I'm okay. Tanya's saying usually on the heat. Yes, Tanya will definitely clarify with that and make sure that the instructions are provided with it. All right, so Paula, how many airplanes have we heard today? What's that? Oh my gosh, you guys, just one. I don't know if anyone had one today. That is amazing. All right, so Paula's going to go through. She'll figure out who said one, and you guys will win a prize. We'll send something off in the mail to you. So thank you for hanging out with me to the end. For those of you that are still with us, find this video wherever you find it, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, and answer the question, what is your favorite childhood book and why? Excuse me. What is your favorite childhood book and why? And you will be entered to win a $25 gift certificate. My voice, holy cow. So I have, for those of you on Facebook and on YouTube, you guys can see these are some of my kids' favorites books. I brought them in and I was surprised that very few people actually had read any of them. These are amazing. We'll talk about them more tomorrow on the Whatnot. I love books. I love kids' books. All right. My voice is going, gang. All right, so that means that we're probably going to hear another airplane soon, but all right, so with that, I'm going to sign off because I'm losing my voice and they're not getting water fast enough. So everyone have a fantastic week and we will see you tomorrow on the Whatnot. All right, everybody, happy sewing and bye now.
And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no two quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world. Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts, and we will see you soon. Bye now.